Somebody said Mike. I know quite a few of you guys.
Don't drop it, right?
No, yeah, non-profit.
No, don't drop it.
Don't drop it, right? Yeah, and Maddie, for one time in her life, Maddie gets to keep me under control now. One time. No, Maddie for 15 years, 45 years with UFCW, and retired, and a very proud car member, and I'm glad to see how many people are out here from Hanford area. This is a Proposition 1, vote yes on Proposition 1. It supports $4 billion for affordable housing for vets and all Californians. What Prop 1 does for California veterans, families, seniors, and people with disabilities, it dedicates funding to help military veterans have a safe place to call home. It provides stable housing for seniors, struggling families, people experiencing homelessness, and individuals with disabilities. It builds affordable homes for hardworking people like grocery clerks, nurses, aides, and teaching assistants, and many more. Helps people live in the communities where they work and serve, while they still can have money for the basics like the groceries and their medications and their child care. It tackles the top priorities for Californians, building homes, creating jobs, and boosting the economy. It's expected to create 137,000 jobs and put in $23.4 billion in California's economy. Now, why Californians need affordable housing? Well, one of the things too is that if you check as far as with what it costs, as far as we even here in Hanford, whether it's anywhere in the Central Valley, what's the average cost as far as an apartment complex if you want to live in an apartment complex? $1,072. If $1,800 if you're going to have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home to raise your family. So the average really is $950 for a 1-bedroom, and for a 3-bedroom it costs you up to $1,500 to $1,600. And that's average. That has nothing to do with what Jody and I talked about before about the Bay Area, what it costs to live over there, or what it costs up in Napa, or what it costs in San Diego. But like she said, it's all moving. It's moving into the Central Valley because everybody in the housing market and stuff, those that are renting their places out, they want to reap that harvest too. That's the way I look at it. Because if you look at it as far as just not that alone, we talked about as far as with the wages and stuff too. So if you're making $14.50 an hour and you're making your wage of $18,000 to $25,000, $29,000 a year. Just like it says, over half the people, over half of your income is going to housing for the whole year. You make $30,000 a year, you're spending $15,000 to $18,000 a year for your housing. The housing crisis is crushing 1 in 3 Californians who can't afford their rents. Many people are spending more than 30% of their incomes and as much as 50% of their incomes on housing. And those figures are just not me pulling figures out of the air. Those figures about what it costs is people know what your next door neighbors are paying, or if you decide to sell your home and move in someplace, what it's going to cost you just to have yourself a 1-bedroom, 1-bath place. The gap is so wide between what Californians earn and the cost of their rent that seniors and families are separated by long commutes because they can't afford to live in the cities where they work. California has the largest population of unsheltered veterans in the nation. Seniors and families are being pushed to the brink and live in their cars or double and even triple up the overcrowded housing as they try to keep a roof over their heads, maintain their jobs, and ensure that their children and grandchildren go to school. And as it says with Prop 1, it's just not for seniors, it's the veterans. It's the homeless folks, those who are trying to keep a job out there and try to have a roof over their head. So all this money is to go into this pot that is supposed to be, I believe people apply for it. They apply for the grant money, and they have to qualify. Cities, and they have to apply for it and be granted that. If the money's not used, it stays in that pot. So when we start looking again as far as with what folks are making, the average out there, even for a veteran, and we had some vets that were here, we were talking about what had happened as far as disabilities. A veteran that has a 70% disability, they're getting anywhere from $1,500 to $1,800 a month. If you have your Social Security earnings, what are you getting? Average of $1,340 a month. You average that out over the 12 months, you're at that $18,000, maybe $20,000 a year. Somebody's making $1,450, making $25 grand a year. It all comes into play is that everything averages out to $1,500. It's still coming out as 50% of your income that you're pulling in is being paid out there for your housing. So what do we do to support this with Prop 1? Julie brought it up already, you got slate cards? Take those slate cards, give them to and spread the word among your family, your friends, your neighbors, and your colleagues, that we all can do something about the housing crisis. Okay, with that, thank you for listening.
So just to follow up with what Mike said, this money, this $4 billion, will be available for cities and municipalities to apply to build new affordable housing for all these populations. And that money sounds like a lot, it's a lot of zeros, but it's going to have to be matched with local dollars or land that maybe a community has available to build the housing, and hopefully someday some federal dollars, if we ever can recapture HUD and the money that used to be provided to build affordable housing. So cities will have to apply for this housing, and you will have a huge role to play in advocating to build housing for these populations once this passes. So we have a lot of work to do, not just to pass this, but then to make sure the money comes into our communities. So the second proposition we're going to talk about is kind of a partner to Prop 1, and it's Prop 2, and Lynn Jacobson, who's one of our very active CAP members from Fresno. How many people are here from the Fresno CAP? Just raise